There's certain things I get asked that I wait to do a video on. This is that. Waiting to do a video on. We are mere weeks from training camp. Rosters are pretty much set. So what about the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions? Can they become a dynasty this year? The term three-peat was used by Mike Sullivan right after they won it. I believe it was during the parade. He believes they can do it. And he better, because he's the coach. So he should believe in his players right after they won the Stanley Cup. So when you look at what they've lost, Bonino's 18 goals, Cullen's 13 goals, both centers. Kunitz down here, 29 points, winger, declining. Okay. On the blue line, you got Daly, who only played 56 games. Mark Streit only played 19 games, came over at the deadline. Hainsey only played 16. Total goals, 46. Assists, 79. Points, 123. That's what they lost in the offseason. In goal, and everybody talks about this as a major loss. 18 wins, 10 losses, 7 overtime losses. A .909 save percentage and 1 shutout. Marc-Andre Fleury did not have a tremendous regular season last year. He didn't. And in the playoffs, he played well. He could have been a co-Conn Smythe winner with Matt Murray if that was a thing, if that was possible. But I really don't think losing Fleury is going to hurt Pittsburgh. That's why when people have said, and he said they didn't lose anything major, what about Fleury? Fleury was their backup goaltender to Matt Murray this year. Fleury got his shot because Murray got himself hurt. I like Marc-Andre Fleury a lot. I wish him the best in Vegas. He is not the goalie he was 5 years ago. It's okay. Pittsburgh hasn't lost a lot. So what have they added? I didn't put up points for these guys because points aren't what they're bringing. Ryan Reeves isn't bringing points. Greg McKegg is a depth guy. Matt Hunwick comes over from Toronto. He'll probably score about 18 points. He likely mostly offsets the loss of, I want to say, Streit or Hainsey. He doesn't offset Daly because I think Daly's better offensively than Hunwick. And I don't think I'm telling tales to say that. But Daly's also getting long in the tooth. He's getting a little older. So they get a little younger with Hunwick. And Streit, of course, is 40 years of age. And that's a thing. And they added Niemi in net. And Niemi was awful for Dallas this past season. It wasn't great the year before either. But in my opinion, Pittsburgh hasn't really taken a huge step back. Here's the thing. So returning from injuries, Letang should be healthy this year. And that's said every year. Letang has issues staying healthy. Malkin also has issues staying healthy. Missed another 20 games this year. If Malkin had played 80 games a year his entire career, we would be talking about him being one of the top 3 players of that generation, along with Crosby and Ovechkin. Absolutely, it would be happening, no doubt in my mind. They've got rookies. Sprong gets mentioned a lot. If Sprong makes this team, he eats up a lot of what gets lost here. I'd say at least 20 of the goals and at least 45 of the points if he makes the team. Zach Aston Reese was brought in. If Aston Reese can play that third-line center spot, they're fine. They have no problems. They have this Czech player, Simon, or Simon. No, it wouldn't be Simon. No, I'll just go with Simone. Dominic Simone. I think it's Simone. Who's a center. And they have this Johnson kid who's a center that they signed out of college. But an interesting thing when I looked over the roster is Jake Gensel has in the past been a center. Every Pittsburgh fan just said it's never going to happen. I know. But he's the only one I could find on their roster who has center anywhere near his name. So, let's say Pittsburgh goes into the season with Rowney as their third-line center. Does the world fall apart? No. The world doesn't fall apart because you've got Crosby and Malkin. As long as Malkin's healthy, Pittsburgh can three-peat. Malkin's health is one of those things you have to worry about. And I think that's the reason why out of the 3 magazines I bought, the only one that has Pittsburgh repeating is the Hockey News. And the Hockey News picks repeats a lot. They're very big on, well, since the defending Stanley Cup champions haven't changed very much, they should be able to repeat this year, which is a nice, safe way to put it until you look over the last 20 years and realize this is the first repeat champion in 20 years, and the likes of a three-peat are not... They're not really high. Yeah, I'm drinking lemonade. You know, lemonade out of a bottle. We got this in Oregon a week ago. Yeah, it was a week ago. It's because it's got raspberry in it. So anything with raspberry, I'll drink it. So the question becomes, can they repeat? Absolutely. Is health going to play a major role in it? If Matt Murray gets hurt for an extended period, does that sink them? Probably. But think about it. You've got a lot of teams that are beholden to one goaltender. And if that goaltender falls by the wayside, they're in deep trouble. And I think the Rangers is one that now is in that position as well. Where Pavelec may be able to put together a few good games, but I don't know, you know, and I've had people tell me, oh, forget that, but Pavelec has been an iffy goaltender for a while. It's not just like he had one bad season. So if the Rangers had to go with him for a long time, they're in trouble. So this isn't a matter of Pittsburgh is in some unique position that if one or two of their key player goes down, if one or two of their key players go down, they're suddenly in trouble. Almost every team in the league has that problem. So if health is on their side, they don't miss these guys. None of these guys were key in the playoffs, except you could argue Daly was as the playoffs wore on. Because Schultz couldn't do everything. And as long as Letang is healthy, and they could really use some solid showings from Pouliot. Derek Pouliot really needs to show that he wants to be an NHL defenseman right now, because this is the best time for him to do it. But Pittsburgh's still solid on the blue line. They've still got Matt Murray in net, who's never lost a playoff series in his professional career. They've still got Crosby and Malkin, the best 1-2 punch at center in the NHL. Sorry, Edmonton, it's still the best 1-2 punch in the NHL. There's no reason they can't three-peat. So my answer to the question, because I get asked, and it comes up, do you think Pittsburgh will three-peat? Do I think they will? No. Do I think they can? Yes. There's a lot that has to fall their way. And again, when you're playing into June, 2 years in a row, and you're playing against a team that's been off from April, they've had 2 extra months off of work. Because it's work to these guys. It's fun, but it's work. They're going to be more rested. There's going to be injuries that a team suffers when they go to the Stanley Cup final that maybe aren't quite completely healed by the time September rolls around and they're in training camp. So remember, they got July, August, and then they're back in training camp in September. This is why it's so hard to repeat. This is why it's you then put that parody word in there and you spell it right when you're sober. You put that parody word in there, and it's a very, very difficult task. So here's the thing. If you think they won't three-peat, tell me why in the comment section below. And if you think they will, tell me why in the comment section below. Again, do I think they will? No. Can they? Absolutely. Could my opinion change by the time the playoffs start? Yep. I didn't pick them to repeat this past season either, but by the time the playoffs started, I was like, oh, Pittsburgh's going to win it again. Just, I felt it. I knew it. I was like, oh, they're going to do it again. So, between now and April, who knows what's going to happen? All I can do is speculate, but I don't look at this list here and say, oh, Pittsburgh's done. Because I think Bonino got slightly overrated as a Penguin. Cullen, great player, great team guy, but he is at the tail end of his career. Daly's older, Kunitz is older, Straight's older, Hainsey's older. It's not like they had a huge defection of a bunch of young talent that left, and they've got enough depth in the organization to absorb it. So that's how I see it. Let me know how you see it, what you think. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.